Hi everyone, welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm Flynn and I'm the host this afternoon, or this morning, or this evening, wherever you are in the world. And I'm here with artist, illustrator, designer, Joy Lee.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty good.
It's been almost 2 years since you were the 8th person we did on Adobe Live here in Sydney.
Yes, 8. 8 is also a very lucky number in Chinese culture.
Yes,
so.
we're learning already.
This
This is so good. Thank you for everyone that has stuck around from the Jeremy Lord episode. We might just have a quick throw up of what we're doing over the next couple of days here, because this is a new part of Adobe Live. We're very excited to be on Behance. So this is today. We just finished off creating a manga character with Jeremy Lord. So that's finished. It's 3 p.m. here in Sydney. So we're going to be doing some illustrating, designing for Lunar New Year with Joy Lee. And then tomorrow we're back with Jeremy Lord, and then we're going to do some stuff with Bill Hope as well. So we've got quite a bit of content happening here. And yeah, let us know in chat if this time works for you as a bit of bonus Adobe Live, bonus creativity for your morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever it is. So please say hi and let us know where you're from. But before we do that, let's have a quick chat about who is Joy Lee, because you're a very interesting person. You work full-time or more or less full-time with an amazing Studio A company, and you're also an illustrator. You do some campaign stuff with Adobe, get flown around the world. What is going on with Joy Lee in 2020?
2020, new decade, new me.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because whenever someone asks me what I do, I always find it really hard to say. I don't know why. It's just because I do it all the time.
Right.
So I work full time in a design studio called A Company, and that's where we mostly do branding. And then outside of work, I kind of create my own art of sorts. That's kind of quite influenced by my own culture and my experiences growing up as an Asian Australian. And it's interesting because the more I learn, the more I develop. I feel like I'm just going to call myself a creative because I write, I art direct, I make objects, I make props, and it just kind of encompasses so many things.
Right.
So I think a creative is how I like to push myself in the
Cool. It's just a catch-all. Allows you to have any output.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bubble myself in.
Cool. Good to know. Creative Joy Lee.
Exactly.
Yeah. We can't edit that because it's live, so we'll just keep going. That's super cool. So how do you juggle working full-time and then doing all these extra creative things?
Well, I try.
You try?
I give the appearance that I cope. No, it's really good because the stuff I do at work, it's great because I've always had an interest in design and essentially creating and being inspired by things around me and able to make things and produce things essentially. But then at the same time, I also like to do my own stuff too, as an artist of sorts, outside. And yeah, I think it's a balance. It's definitely a balance. But then at the same time, the stuff that I do outside, I get to pick and choose. Right. So it gives me more flexibility in that way.
Yeah, very cool. It must be nice working at a company with some very talented people.
Oh yes, hopefully they're watching.
Yeah.
Shout out. It's great. It's great. I just constantly learn. I just keep every day. I realize there's things that I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's all of us, right?
That's all of us.
You
exactly.
can't learn everything, especially if you're doing artistic work, illustration, making objects, all that stuff.
Everything. But it's great.
Endless, but it's great.
Yeah.
Super cool. So we kind of covered what would you describe your work and what you do. One more question, then we'll get stuck into it. How did you get started?
Oh, how did I get started? In general? In life?
We don't have to go all the way back. But your creative career, did you, because illustrator, drawing, creating objects, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
did you study design, communication?
Well, I keep saying that I have 20 plus years of unprofessional experience since preschool, but then 2 years professional in the industry. So I think from a young age, it just kind of came naturally to me in the sense that I've always liked being creative, and then transitioning that on into being able to learn about how to harness my creativity and actually produce work, and then later realizing how I can take that and actually make it into a career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was kind of a seamless process,
Yeah,
I'd say.
very good. Nice. Well, so why don't we chat about what we're actually going to do today? Because we have this theme of Lunar New Year happening all throughout Adobe, all throughout, obviously, the region. And so we thought that would be a great theme, which is why we're very excited to have you on, because you do this amazing work, as you mentioned, that is around your cultural heritage, being an Asian Australian.
Slip.
It was a slip. Hey, one of my hands, I thought maybe.
Yeah.
We're
live.
And yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, for sure.
Or we could jump into it as well.
I mean, we can jump into it, but just like quickly, like just to touch on what I like doing outside in the work that I create for essentially my people. Yeah, so a lot of my work that comes from me personally is really much attached to my cultural heritage and growing up as an Asian Australian and of a Chinese background, and how I can take those unique aspects of my life and translate it into visual work that speaks to a lot of people and resonates to a lot of people. Like that gives me life.
It's always like quite a tongue-in-cheek thing. Maybe we should have a look at some of the work as well to give people an idea. So what is this one? Is this the template?
Yeah, this is a template.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I worked with Adobe to create. Well, they gave me the brief actually. They're like, Joy, look, do this. They gave me the brief of creating something for the Lunar New Year that celebrates the traditions and rituals that I carry out year to year that brings me creative prosperity. And I created two things. So the first thing was a template. So this template I was inspired by my grandma. So it's a recipe template, and my grandma's actually visiting here right now. So I was super, super, super inspired, and she'd cook up a storm at home, and I would help her make a lot of dishes. And because I've realized that a lot of the times when you cook, you need a recipe, right? You're like, where?
Right.
You know, I need to know the exact ingredients. I need to know the measurements. I need to know the steps. But then I've realized to my mum and to my grandma, it's just muscle memory, and it's all just up in here.
Right.
Whereas for me, I'm like, look, I need to write it down. And it's interesting because like this ancestral knowledge, I'm not sure if it's the same in your family, but this knowledge is passed down not through documentation a lot of the time, but it's through kind of shared practice.
Right.
And actually, you know, making the food together. And, you know, and Lunar New Year is a time where, you know, we celebrate through food, and it's quite symbolic of respect and love in my family and in the Chinese culture. So I wanted to do something more in my style, I guess, in a way that I can, to be able to preserve and essentially share the recipes in our family's culture. And yeah.
Cool.
So
what sort of food would you cook? What sort of food is like? What's she a master in? What is grandma's killer dish?
Oh, grandma's she's good at everything. My gosh, she's good at so many things. So so this particular one, I have examples actually up of the final artwork, but this is just a template. She makes a killer New Year's cake, which is essentially, it's like a mochi cake.
Right.
In a way, yeah, it's really interesting. It's just made of essentially three ingredients, but it's just like, it's very great. It's really good. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Right.
I can show you the template.
Yeah, and this template is downloadable right now, I think. So I think we'll share that in the chat.
Yeah, you can download this on one of the Adobe web pages or on my website.
Yeah, there's that link now, I think. And so, yeah, you could even download and go along with us if you wanted to, or if you're watching the replay, you can do it, or you can get started and have a turn, because that's the whole intention, right? You're asked to create this template that other people can play with and interact and add their own stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, and they can share. So with this template, I'll just go through it in a general sense, and I'll show you how you can customize. So with this, it's on Photoshop. It's a Photoshop template, and I've created 3 artboards. So 3 artboards. The square ones can be used for square formats, and the other one can be used for a different format, essentially. But let's just use this one, just an example. I'll zoom in. Oh. Okay. So with this one, when you download it, you'll be able to see these three, and I've categorized all the layers, and I've layered the file and named all of them for.
You're like, oh, I gotta name these files. Is the template that someone else is going to open?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yikes! I've gotta. So it's usually much more messy, but I have to think of a way to condense this down for everyone. So there's different ways you can use this, and there's different things that you can customize. So as you can see, if you're familiar with Photoshop, you'll notice that it's all layered each of the files, and some of them are grouped. So the sticker one is all grouped in there, and then once you open it, you can see all the different customizable things. It's endless essentially. And that's the recipe. And just to go through it, let's say I want to change the border color. I just double click. Oh, what color? There's too many colors. Too many colors to choose from.
Yeah, we had a lot of blues and purples with Jeremy. So
let's try maybe a green. Maybe a green. Let's see if that's. I can take I can take years on finding a good color, but let's just settle on for a nice green. All right. So we have the green. You can choose your color of the background.
Nice.
So again, I've layered and named all these files. So anything in red on the side, you can go in and edit. Everything else, you still can edit. It's just more so, it's just to highlight the things that, yes.
What were intended to be edited.
Yes.
Right.
Or you can create your own thing from it, but it's fine. So with the border, I've created different types of borders you can just select. So at the moment, it's a beveled one. Let's do fancy. Fancy. So at the moment, you can see it's quite similar color. So it's, but you want a different color. Let's just change the color. So there's an FX, double click. Brings you this box. Don't get scared. So it's ticked, it's got a color overlay. See, there you go, there's the blue. But what's another good color? Oh, Flynn, there's too many colors.
What goes with green?
We've got orange, we've got pink, we've got purple, we've got...
We could do an orange.
We can do an orange. Yeah, let's do an orange. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could get behind that. All right, nice, let's pop in. I'll just copy that just to make sure if I need it for anything else. Okay, and then just okay. So there you go, an orange border. Let me just collapse that. We can change now the sticker. So the sticker. This is where you can put in your loved one or the person who has created the recipe, essentially. In this case, this is my grandma pan. So let's go in. From this, you can see that there's a replace me image. I want to go into that. You can just double click on this bottom icon here, and it will take you to a separate. It'll take you to a separate
Such a great
file.
photo.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. So I'll just show you guys how you can essentially deep etch your loved one.
Nice.
So in this guide, you can see that I've done, you should turn off this guide. That's just to give you it's just to align the face here. And you can just see it's my grandma, and I put her on a blue background. And then, so what you want to do is put the image of your loved one in. So you can image, edit, sorry, my bad. I'm just trying to find it, looking through the mic.
We put a microphone. You're not used to having a
microphone.
microphone
I'm not
between
used to
you
a microphone
and the
in my
laptop.
face. I'm like, I can do this. Make sure you just do file. You can place embedded your image in. So right now I have, I've done this. I've made this for you guys already.
Pre-made.
So yeah, pre-made. Putting grandma pan. Get in my what's this tool? I keep forgetting. Magic Wand. Thank you. Slip. And then there is a select. Well, you can do it like this, but it's going to take you forever to find everything.
It's the old school way.
It's the old school way. And it's crazy because when I was at Adobe Max last year, they had this magic button where you press, and then all the subjects just selected, and you're like, I'm out of a job. So, and the button's actually up here. So make sure you have the one selected, and if you press select subject, just let it do its magic. Progress. See? Look at that. It just selected my grandma.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty good, right? So right click.
Auto grandma select.
Yeah, very good. So I just do layer via copy, so it's non-destructive. I can just close that layer. So see, my grandma's pretty much cut out pretty well, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Open the background color again. I can change the color this time. Maybe I'll put it to that orange. I think the orange would be good.
The orange was good.
Yeah, I think I saved it. There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And then you can just see if it's aligned to the face. Yes, it's aligned to the face. And if you save it, magic. It's orange now.
There we go.
Yeah. So now it's orange. It's awesome. And then if you want to edit any of the text, bring up the text tool. So you can see replace me, which is the relative's name. You can just unclick that just to see where it is. So if I select the text, all the text is editable for your convenience. Select that, grandma pan.
Have you printed this? Is this?
I have not
You
printed
haven't?
this. It's just digital.
I want to see what this green and orange
Oh gosh.
like relationship is.
Oh,
We'll sort that.
hopefully it's
We'll
good.
sort that
Hopefully
out.
it's good. Yeah. And you can adjust this just with your arrow keys if you want to center it. So there you go. That's grandma pan. And again, you can edit all these text boxes. So this one's your family recipe name, which you can just do. I can just change mine to Lee's family recipe.
This is making me hungry.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think it would happen, but it's happened.
It's happened. First time on live.
Oh no, I'm always hungry.
Oh, you're always.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but this is
Yeah.
making me even more hungry than usual.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, so that's how you edit the sticker. And you can
Nice.
move the sticker. So if you collapse it, use your move tool. Hopefully it's going to move. There you go. Yep, there you go. Yep, you can move it anywhere you like. So it's essentially a sticker. You can put it down here. I mean, I'd still suggest it somewhere up here just because there's space and you don't want to cover your recipe. And there's also an option to change your own image. So with this one, I literally just took it on my iPhone and deep etched it. So I actually made this on the day that I was like, yeah, I need to do this now. I asked my grandma, I need to make this. You have to help me make it, please.
So grandma was involved.
Grandma was involved.
In this creative process.
Yeah. And
she was your food stylist.
yeah, she was. She loved
chef.
it.
That's cool. It is quite amazing, isn't it? That you could just take a photo on your phone, get it
Exactly.
in,
Put
cut it out.
in. Yeah, and
All
it's
pretty quick these days, isn't it?
Exactly. So with this one, it's all deep etched, so you can see it on the background. I've got like another one prepared for you. So this is another one I took earlier. Again, we want to do the same thing. You get your magic wand, select subject, let it work its magic. Selected. Amazing.
Easy.
Now right click, you can buy a copy, so you have it copied. You can turn that layer off. If you save it, and then let's see the magic. See,
Ta-da.
it just comes up here. How amazing.
So fast.
So quick, so easy. And then if you want to resize it, make sure you use your transform tool. So I just did Control T or Command T. You can move it around. I just don't want it too static because, spice up this recipe.
Spice it up.
Spice it up. So you can extend it a little bit more, pull it down. All right, and then once you're happy, yep. It's pretty good.
Nice.
It's
Nice
nice.
and
Very
fast.
nice, very nice. And then again, you can fill in all your ingredients and steps and the time, how many it can make, and your recipe. And there you have it. You can save this out. You file, export, and you should export as.
They look like Instagrammable sizes.
Yeah, very
Is
good.
that
Exactly. It's
coincidence?
very Instagram.
No.
No, it's not a coincidence. It's all planned. It's all part of the plan to take over.
What's your Photoshop on the laptop to Instagram post process? Like, are you a Dropbox user?
Ooh.
Do you email it? Do you share it?
Depends on.
I got to know. Someone's going to tell me a better way to do it.
Oh, it really depends. Like sometimes if it's a lot, I put it on
Dropbox, yeah.
Or Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
But if I need it quick, if I'm depends on like which device I use. Sometimes I AirDrop it.
Yeah.
To myself. Yeah, but those are the main ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what do you use?
Pretty much those ways.
Okay,
yeah.
because I don't think there's anything faster.
I want a silver bullet.
Unless you design it on your phone and...
Yeah, and then that's super fast.
And then put it out. Exactly.
True.
Well, this one, so you can just export them all out, but I just want to export that one. Leave it as PNG. You don't have to have transparency, but there will be no transparency anyways. So make sure everything's good, and then you press export. Just put somewhere safe. All right, and then you have it. Then you have your recipe. But at the moment, there's nothing in there, so it's kind of like you're making nothing.
Right.
But
yeah, it's probably not as exciting as
it's not exciting
as your grandma's cooking.
Yeah. Like ingredient goes here, step one goes here. Yeah.
Right. She's hiding those secrets.
She's hiding those secrets. Like just doesn't want to share it with everyone.
You've done a whole collection of work that's kind of in this way, right? Like I think last time we had you on. Yeah. You were sort of using some sort of cliche work from like a Chinese shop.
Yeah,
around.
My Lee's General Store.
Yeah, Lee's General Store.
Yeah, so I designed plates, and I designed chopsticks, and I designed different like medicine bottles and packaging. Yeah, so it's all kind of within that space. But then kind of there's a play in it. Yeah. Move on to the second thing?
Cool. Yeah, let's move on to the second thing. So if you want to, obviously you can download that and have a play with it. If you do, tag Joy so we can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's have a look at the second project that we're going to have a look at today.
So my second project was it's a bigger piece. Let's say it's a bigger piece.
Yeah.
It's more intricate, and for this one again, it's still surrounding the dinner traditions and rituals that I have around the house, and I wanted to like make something that, well, this is essentially it's a manual, it's a poster, it's a placemat that kind of highlights the different aspects of Lunar New Year dinner and what a time it is, essentially. So I can just take you through it. So essentially I've created this in different panels, and I wanted to do something that was in a style that I actually I haven't really done before, which it's a little bit more comic booky actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got panels and it's essentially just segmented into little bite-sized bits that you can just read and enjoy.
It reminds me a bit of like much more detail, but like the airplane.
Yeah,
like when you're getting
safety
like
manual.
this. Yeah, like safety manual, like a very visual representation, like the guy coughing down the bottom, like that could almost be ripped out of like a really detailed.
Yeah, exactly. It's essentially like a manual. But then when you read it, you're like, oh, it's actually quite hilarious, because it's actually quite like it's really interesting because it's like that night, especially if you're with your extended family,
right,
it can be such an event.
So what is the event like for someone that might not know about it, like me? What is the significance of this particular dinner?
Well, Lunar New Year's dinner was like a reunion dinner in a way. Yeah. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's kind of like Christmas or New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving, but it's the night before the New Year.
Right.
The New Year in the calendar. For Lunar New Year, and the significance is that like this is where you gather all your extended relatives, or just like if your extended relatives aren't there, just your immediate family, where you just essentially celebrate the abundance that is life,
right? And
you'd wish everyone wealth, good health, and prosperity. And then I think from my perspective, like in a creative perspective, we don't really like to think about money, but we like to think about wealth in different ways, where it's inspiration from your family or just things that make life wealthy, essentially, like being around friends and family. And I kind of wanted to celebrate that. Yeah.
That's cool. Did you have this completed before before the Lunar New Year, like
yeah,
before?
Yeah,
so
before the day.
So you got to show your family?
Yeah, yep. Half the time they're like, I don't know drawing, but I'm like, look.
That's what family are for.
Yeah.
Second guessing everything you do.
Second guessing everything.
Yeah.
Giving the harsh
critic.
critique.
Yeah. Always your harshest critic, right? Yeah, except for maybe yourself. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is made in different panels. And then I guess my creative process for this is that I always come up with the idea first, an idea in the sense that what I'm going to do. So in this case, the concept around it, how I might visualize it, how it's going to be segmented. Like I draw it all in like pencil first outside, but it's like like I would never show anyone that.
That's not coming out on the live stream.
No. That's not coming out live. It's literally indecipherable.
Right.
Like you cannot tell what it is. But that's how like usually we work even in studio half the time. You just draw and then you're like, oh my god, this idea is so bad. It looks so bad. But but then in the end, it just somehow comes together because you have it in your mind, but then you get the tools and that to kind of make it real.
Right.
Yeah. To actually visualize it.
Yeah.
But it's quite like it's definitely a process. But I can just show you like workflow in the sense of how I would make something like this.
Cool.
And then if I go to my layers panel, you can see that this is literally made out of. I'm making this in InDesign. So InDesign is essentially it's very good for typography and putting different components together into one artwork in a way. And because I use type a lot and I do. And put that all together with image. InDesign is what I find the best way to do that. But then I might go into Photoshop, do my illustration, go to Illustrator and play around with certain vector graphics before I import them into InDesign.
Right.
So it keeps my workflow clean and gives me just essentially like it extends my capabilities on other applications.
Cool.
So with this one, you can see I get quite anal about this stuff after being in studio and having to be very rigorous about layering and.
I love the color coordinated layers.
Yes, it has to be.
That is next level.
It has to be perfect.
That's the new standard for sure for guests on the show.
Yeah, got to clean it all up. But it's a mess. It's a mess during the process. Like,
right.
It's everywhere, and then I clean it up in the end. So you can see there's the background, there's the image, and then that's the text. So you can see how like different components are put together, and it's not just like, there you go. And something I like to show everyone is just kind of a small, how do I put this together if I was to do something similar myself.
Cool.
So I made this small one for this live stream for everyone.
Just for us.
Just for you. For this one is just more so I was like, let's just think about some household staples that we'd have in the house. That's quite hilarious. Everyone would have the supermarket calendar that they buy from the grocery store that they just give out if you spend after a certain amount. We like to hoard our hotel toiletries, so we have a lot of them around in this time of year, especially after coming back from break. And then
so that just stocks up somewhere in the house.
Yes, in a cupboard. Which there, if visitors come over, you just be like,
I've got
this. We're a hotel. And then this quite hilarious one, sewing supplies. So you're like, why is it in a biscuit tin?
Right.
But it's quite funny because this particular like Danish biscuit tin is kind of in the I don't know the immigrant Asian collective conscious. Like everyone just happens to have this blue tin, but then inside, after you finish the cookies, there'll just be random things like sewing supplies.
Right.
And then once you're just like, I want cookies, you open it, but it's not cookies.
But it's just needles and.
It's just needles and
dice
thread.
for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So just show you guys how I'd put together something like this. And then, so for this one, this is InDesign. If you guys haven't used InDesign before, it's quite simple actually. It's quite intuitive. With this one, I've already set up the dimensions that I want to go for. But if you want to set up a new file, you just go File New, new document. And then you'd have all your dimensions in here that you can set up with your units, whether they be, in this case, because I'm working digitally, I like using pixels, but if you have it for print output, I'd recommend more millimeters or centimeters. So after you do that, you create, and then you'd be like, voila, I get this, but not this. So after I have this, I just want to create a new one just to show you guys how I would make something similar.
Just creating another artboard.
Another artboard. Give me 1 second. Why is it doing that?
Why is it doing that?
Technical hitch. Let's get back to this.
I need to zoom out and zoom back in, maybe.
Zoom out.
It wants to keep you in the corner.
Yeah, it wants to. Do not box
Don't keep
me.
Joy in the corner.
No, do not put little Joy in the corner. All right, let's open it again. Oh, here are some of my other works. Desktop. Let's get it out. Behance Live. Household staples. Come on, do not box me in now. Oh, okay. So we have a back.
There we go.
It's kind of pixelated because it's on what InDesign essentially does is that it can keep the file small if you've had like really large images that you place in, but it just renders it a little bit more pixelated, so it's quick. But
that threw me a lot when I was a design student.
you're like, why is it pixelated?
Yeah.
I didn't draw like this.
Yeah.
So you can just change your view to display to high quality. So now, voila.
Looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful. All right. Fingers crossed. All right, there you go.
There we go.
Yay. So I added a new page so I can recreate what I've done up here. Something I really liked about Adobe is that I use these CC libraries. I don't know if anyone else uses them, but essentially for each project I do, I can store all my colors that I use, my character styles, the graphics that I use, and essentially they'll be just linked on the cloud somehow.
Yeah, somewhere in the cloud.
Somewhere in the
It's
cloud.
just
I've got no idea.
Someone does it. Thank you, cloud.
Someone does it.
Yeah, I use the same thing for, because I have different clients and they always have very specific colors, very specific H1s, H2s,
Yeah.
H3s,
Yeah.
logos and everything like that.
Yeah.
Makes it so much easier just to switch around.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you work cross-platforms, like I work in InDesign, I work in Photoshop, it's really handy. So for this one, you can see, what do I do first? I'll probably just do the background. I just press W to show that. And I'm just dragging a rectangle frame tool. So now I have a rectangle that has nothing in it. But now I just want to add color, so I can just go in here. It's red now. It is red.
Nice.
So now I have the background. I've already saved some of the graphics, so I've already created this earlier. I baked it earlier. And I click and drag, and it should be there for me.
What did you create the type in?
I created the type in... I actually created... Because this is kind of like distorting type in a way.
Yeah.
I didn't use the type tool here, but I actually brought it into Illustrator, which I'll actually show you how to do this household staples, this type treatment in a second. So I've put that down. And then now if I want to go into Illustrator, I've got my text. So essentially like on this side, I'm just going to show you how I've typed it out, and I've given it a setting. And then I've given it an outline, and then I might actually just go from here. I'll just duplicate that just to show everyone. So I have the type, I put it in the color. And now I want it to look like that, which is essentially just adding a stroke to the outside.
Yep.
That's a bit too light. I think I did it to 1. So once I have that, now I need to figure out how to do this. Again, I feel like there's a billion different ways you can do this, but this is kind of how I do it.
Right.
But I feel like that's for everything, right? There's like a million different ways to get the same result. But
That's like our Adobe Live disclaimer that everyone says. Like, this is just the way I do it. Just in case anybody out there has a better way. This is just the way I do it.
Look, don't get triggered.
But yeah, that's totally, there's almost always multiple ways to do things.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to create outlines from this. So I right click, create outlines, or you can just use a shortcut. So once you create it into an outline, it essentially doesn't become editable anymore. So make sure you spell it correctly. I've had certain,
Want to spell check?
Yeah, you want to spell
Early
check.
on.
Early on. Before you make it and be like, wait a minute, it doesn't say household.
Mousehold staple.
Mousehold. Oh, good one. And then afterwards, you want to ungroup this all. So then they can become individual letters that you can kind of move about. And then in this case, how I do that, I'm not going to show you all now, but I will just give a quick demo. You can manually move all these.
Just bump it up.
Just bump it up, or press shift and move it up a little bit. So this is essentially like what we do as designers sometimes, is to kern and track the type.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone who doesn't know what that is that kerning is to essentially adjust the space between each letter. And is that kerning? Yes, it is kerning.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in the individual ones. So sometimes you can see, this is why like I get really frustrated.
Yeah, it's the individual
gaps,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and whereas tracking is the whole
If
word.
Fes's still in chat, he'll probably jump in and tell us. He knows.
Yeah, I mean, something
Chat
that
always
like,
knows.
we see all too much is like, why is the space between, certain letters so big? And it just gets on my nerves all the time. So you have to manually do that. So once you can see, like, I've just done HU Howls, you can see that I can create something like that in that particular format. And I just want to copy and paste this, so I can Control-C, copy, and then go back into my InDesign. You can do this in different ways, but I just like to do this just for the sake of being quick right now. And then place.
Yeah.
So right now you can see...
It's all vector.
It's
it
all
works
vector.
really easy.
Exactly. It works really well across different applications. So you see that, but then it comes up with like a weird number right now, but I can just increase that to increase the outlines because it's just copied and pasted really nicely. So, yep, we've got that. So what else are we missing? So I'm missing this background. So how I can make that frame. Again, I draw a rectangle. I can use a rectangle frame tool. I just draw it, and I have margins, so it clicks really nicely. So I have it as pink. So at the moment it's just rectangle, plain old rectangle.
Oh.
Yeah.
So sad that it's a rectangle.
It's sad. It needs to be a little bit
Gotta jazz
more.
it up a little bit.
Yeah. I just want to add maybe an outline to it just to give it some framing. Black. All right, we got that. All right, we can see that, right? Yes. It's just a plain old rectangle, but we want it a bit fancier. Rectangle.
Make you fancy.
We can make it fancy. So if you go to your direct selection tool up here, or A for shortcut, just select that. You can select the individual points of each shape. So make sure to know you've selected it, it should just highlight. And you can just drag that.
Nice.
So if I just drag that down a little bit and maybe drag this point a little higher, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Cool.
And there we have the background there. Now I want to add in my type. I mean, I feel like I just like copy and paste and call it a day, but I have to do it for you guys to show you.
Maybe you could show one.
We can show. Okay,
and then
we
you
can
could leave
one.
the other two.
Yeah,
we'll get
good.
that.
Yeah, you get the gist.
Yeah.
So you get the type tool out. Which one do you want to do? Sewing supplies, hotel toiletries, or
Let's do the supermarket calendar.
Supermarket calendar. Yeah, that's fun. Now I just got the type tool from the toolbox. Just draw a text box. So now I have the text box. It's kind of in just the standard font at the moment, but that's all right. We can just type in supermarket calendar. Have I typed that correctly? Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. So I've already got my character styles set. So which means that if I've selected them, so if I use my select tool, select the box, and select body, it just voila, it turns into that typeface. But if you haven't set up your character styles or paragraph styles, you can just go into your font selection and font size and font weights here. And for this particular typeface, I got it off Adobe Fonts. So, and there's like a bajillion fonts on there.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's just so many. There's so many. Like,
There's more being added all the time as well. So
it's just too much choice.
so much to go through.
So much choice. So normally you'd think that, oh, let me just draw a box and put it behind there. But no, there's another way to do that. To add the box in. Oops, that's not what I want. Get rid of that first. Alright, so I want you to get up the frame tool, I think that's what it's called. Just to Control B to get that up, text frame options. I get my inset spacing, so this gives padding essentially around the box.
Right.
So I want maybe 10. We can just preview it just to see. At the moment it's like, oh, okay, it's squished it all. But that's all right. We just want to see the amount of space around the text. So that's fine. I want to okay that. And if I double click on the edge, the bottom right of the text box, it fits it to my box and you can see there's padding around it now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that trick.
More
Nice
you know,
one.
more you know.
Wow.
And then now
Very
what
cool.
you want to do is you can just add the paper background and a border. So see, it does that again, but you can just double click, corner. It's taking its time today. All right, there you go. So
Nice.
there you have it. So it's
I
really
like
nice.
that.
So you don't have to kind of have multiple assets all on top
Yeah,
of
and then
each other
grouping
and then-
everything.
Yeah,
That's how I
and
would have
then-
done it.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then now you can get it so that it's just nice and even around each side.
Yeah, and it's going to be right every time, so you don't have to do it by eye.
Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
think I made that a little bit higher. I just moved that a little bit higher first. All right. So now we have that. And for the image, for images itself, I have drawn this in Photoshop. So if I go into
So
my
you drew it in
links-
Photoshop.
I drew it in Photoshop and then exported in here. But I'll
Right.
just show you what my Photoshop file looks like.
Cool.
So at the moment it's all linked. And by linked being, you can edit it as you go along. So let's just go into here and I just want to go...
Edit original?
Yeah, edit original. Right click on your image, edit original. Hopefully it opens it in. Yep, there you go, Photoshop.
Nice.
Nice, nice. So as you can see, normally I'd create probably these in different files itself, but I just put them all in one so you can just see how I work essentially.
Right.
These are just like really quick illustrations, but they're all on, again, very neat. And
Very well labeled.
very, very well
Yeah.
labeled, so it's not just untitled one.
Do you use a pen or a brush?
Yeah,
like
I use a pen. So essentially this laptop can transform into a tablet.
Right.
It's like a billion things in one, so I can work on that. And then in this, you can see all my layerings. This is my color layer, this is my actual calendar, and then there's just this white background, so I have empty space on the outside, so when I imported it into InDesign, it's essentially got an empty, clear background.
Yeah, cool.
And then for this, just to show you, I mean, I can do a demo of coloring, but I think everyone understands how I color in. It's not that, it's
Yeah.
not that complex.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I draw that and I essentially put that all into each of its respective layers, so that if I want to change the color of this, let's say, if I go into my layer, image adjustments, I can change the entire color of this. I probably won't later, but like I can just do these directly by here, and then if I've saved it out, it's gonna link to my InDesign, and
Yeah.
voila, it's gonna be pink instead of
Nice.
red. So I'm not gonna do that, but that's essentially how it works. Just to get the image in now, I want to place, file, place. Where is my place? All right, let's get my artwork out. So it's in my household illustration. So if you've drawn it all on one, you can do the show import options and open. So you can directly import the layers that you want.
Right.
So this time I don't want the toiletries, but I want the calendar. So I do that. Select the calendar, turn that on. Okay. Click and drag. There's a calendar.
There we go.
Yeah, I can also fit it to the frame a little bit more, but you won't see the frame anyways. I drag that on. I move it to how I like, and ta-da!
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's essentially how I created this bigger piece of
whole
work.
thing.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
So these are just like little components within a bigger thing. So if you're wanting to tackle something similar, like you can just think about them in bite-sized pieces essentially, but also have that overarching idea of, oh, I need to have something here and here and here, and then tackle that one at a time.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
love
not
the
so
way.
overwhelming.
Yeah, I love the way you've set. I love the way that you've set it up. Like once you have this set up, it's so neat to go back in and play around with it. Yeah, which is super cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, this is the neat part of it.
Yeah, this is the neat version,
This
right?
is the neat version. There's probably something at home that says like final.
Real final, actual
Real
final.
final, yeah. And there's a billion versions where you realize like, oh, it's actually, I had to play around with the positionings of everything and how it tells a story and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with us.
Nice.
So just where can people find out more of your work? Where's the best place?
Oh, best place. I mean, I feel like I'm everywhere, everywhere on the internet.
Everything's like interconnected,
right? It's
right?
all connected.
Yeah.
Maybe Instagram's a good place just to see kind of day-to-day things, things that are updated, and new work. So that's at _JoyLee on Instagram. You can see all my polished things on my website.
Yeah.
joylee.com.au. And then I think those are the two main places.
Cool.
Yeah, I do not have like a GoFundMe or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So great. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone in chat. Thanks for spending some time with us. We'll be back tomorrow around a similar sort of time, 1:30 in Sydney, and then obviously streaming all around the world. So hope you can join us again. Thank you very much, Joy,
No worries.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.